can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
We hear it is launch date time.
Launch date.
I'm excited. And we have Vic Sorrell, who we hope will be joining us live. And
He will. He's jumping on now.
Okay,
so
good.
You watch for him.
I will. I'll watch and see when he enters the waiting room.
There
You
go.
guys have a really cool thing coming up. We're going to be talking about that. But first, we're going to have a word from Ringo Starr. It is his birthday. It is straight up noon. Well, 12:01, but who's counting? It's all in the world of time. It is noon around the world.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm inviting everyone who wants to join the Peace and Love celebration for my birthday at noon, your time, wherever you are, 7/7/21. And you can post it, you can say it, you can even think it, but it'll be cool if you go Peace and Love at noon on my birthday, 7/7/21. So let's spread peace and love around the world on my birthday. Come on, everybody!
Peace and love. Doesn't that make you feel good?
It does. It does.
You think we're just going to have some peace and love. And, you always close our show with increase the peace.
Yes.
So it is. And you got a really cool thing that is coming up. And, this year has been really magnifying for stuff that we got to deal with. It's been magnifying for stuff that we may have lost. It's been magnifying for our mental health issues. So you and Vic Sorrell have created this wonderful workshop series. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, as you can see, it's a 4 hours, those particular Saturdays on passion, purpose, power, and plugging in. And we're going to be diving into and swimming around in all of those topics and reintroducing people to how to plug into those in your life. And for some people, it'll be the first time they're plugging into them, like really defining what is your passion and how does that passion not only show up in your life, but move through you in your life. And purpose, purpose is not just one, thing that we're working towards. We can have purpose in everything that we do.
Right.
And embracing our power, because it's not a bad thing.
Plugging in, and that's another thing. That's a really cool thing. And you can either go to all 4 or you can just go to one. Maybe there's one that is striking your fancy and you go, I really need some tweak in this little area. I need some help. So if they want to find out, we're going to be talking a little bit about things about passion is something that, I love that first topic. Because people are, and I'm going to use one of my favorite words, bereft of passion. Richard Tress, my dear friend, posted something on social media today, and that's at Our World Today, and there were these beautiful artist renditions of how social media, how the internet, our phones have taken over our lives, and we feel like we are responsible to answer everything that comes in a timely manner. And I just don't anymore because there are things that it interferes with. I get fussed at all the time. That's, well, I was calling you and I know that, you're probably out there on the farm and stuff and, you didn't answer me.
Right.
Because I was bathing horses.
Right.
And I want to be totally present with my passion. And
absolutely.
I've watched you, and one of your passions that I've watched, you are a kayaker.
Ooh, girl, love me some kayaking. Yes.
There's something amazing about having something that you're passionate about. And, and I'm not talking about passion sitting in front of the TV. We get passionate about our shows and our things or whatever. We can record, we can go back and Netflix and get it when we're not doing our passion.
Absolutely. Passion is you know, first and foremost, checking in with, are you allowing yourself to tap into what you're passionate about? Because a lot of people won't allow themselves to tap into what they're passionate about because, well, that's just outside the norm, or my family won't agree with that, or, well, that's just wasting time. That's idle hands, whatever the excuse is. It's about harnessing into what we're going to talk about the littles a lot in the workshops, and it's about harnessing in on that, and what is it that has been with us all this time, that sits there kind of like we talked about, last week, on the shelf, that we're passionate about, but we just don't allow ourselves to really feel it, to embrace it, and just to be wrapped in it.
Well, we got lots of people joining us, including Vic Sorrell, who's going to be part of this amazing event that starts. Hi, Vic.
Hi, good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
Oh, we are so glad that you're here. And we're going to say a quick shout out to some of the folks who are joining us online. Hi, Tim. And he says, anytime a date with you both is an amazing blessing. Love y'all always. Well, we love you, Tim.
We do, Tim.
And of course, EB is here. Elizabeth, always good to have you. Candy, setting priorities is important. And Elizabeth, I get those excuses we can use to avoid our passions. They usually stem from hearing someone else say something negative about what I am passionate about. Yes, we're going to unpack that suitcase. And Candy, or do we do our passion and keep it to ourselves and don't share it with the world? Wayne is joining us. Hi, Wayne. Glad to have you here. Okay, we're talking about passion, Vic, and what are your words on the subject?
One of my favorite descriptions of passion, I think it came from Abraham Hicks, is when you feel like every cell in your body is smiling.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yes. And, hopefully everybody can relate to that in some way. They're doing something or experiencing, a connection with someone or a conversation, getting to that place. I think when we follow that, we certainly are going to lead ourselves into something more. Let's say that. We don't necessarily know that passion is going to lead us to anything specific. But what we do know it's going to lead us to is more of ourselves and more of what we need to know.
Well, amen. Well, I've got a friend of mine, and I'm going to shout him out. His name is Bill Sinkay, and he had dreams. He was a wonderful bass player, and he played with a lot of different people, but he had a passion and a dream of things like being on stage at Madison Square Garden. He's a New York kid, and it occurred to him one day when he had been playing and he hadn't really it was kind of this weird moment when Neil Diamond called him or his band person said, would you like to audition for a chance to play with Neil Diamond? And then a course of events, and all of a sudden he said, I was walking out the door and I was going to play Madison Square Garden. And he is a hypnotherapist now, and he also still plays. But he said, it was in that moment I realized that passion and dreams, that there is no expiration date on a dream.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Something else, too, that came up for me while you said that is it's so common, I think, and let me use I statements, because I have often associated passion with experiences that are big, sort of like playing at Madison Square Garden. But as I've gotten a little older, what I've learned is that passion happens when you are really engaged in cooking a meal that you really want to cook and serving it to people you love, right? There's passion in that. Absolutely. Right. There's passion in so many of the things that we would probably call simple or common. And I think tapping into that really allows us to open a whole new dimension of our lives, just on a daily basis. So sure, Madison Square Garden experiences are wonderful, and passion is available to us in so many other ways that are right here, right now.
Bathing my horse yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was in my backyard. I was getting filthy dirty and scrubbing that horse, and she and I had a moment. You know,
Yes.
it was this moment, and I go, and every cell, as Candy says, I like that, Vic, when you feel like every cell in your body is smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
that-
sweating hotty, and I was just like, and it was great.
Yes. And that's the thing, the passions, the purposes, the plugging in, all of those, they can absolutely be on the big screen scale, but they can also be, more importantly, recognizing them because they show up every day in our life. It's just our ability to recognize them and then embrace them. And then that leads to that more purpose-filled, joy-filled, present-filled life that I think most people really want to connect to. We just don't have the blueprint to do that. And the workshop that we're doing is laying out that blueprint.
Purpose is our next, moving into purpose. And we're just going to scratch the surface. But if you guys want to unpack this, we're going to give you details at the end of this show, how to get involved in these different subject matters, whether you do the whole 4 topic extravaganza package or just one. Purpose is big. Purpose-driven life, big book. Rick Warren had it. And so we unpack that and we learn our purpose. But I watch people all the time, and adult children who take care of their aging parents. When you try to do everything for them and you take their purpose, you might as well be nailing a nail into a coffin. I'm just saying this out loud because I know personally this is happening in a lot of people's lives right now. People must have purpose.
Well, I think we all have purpose. And people will say, do that with a purpose, but living in your purpose, like speaking with purpose and intention, receiving with purpose and intention. Again, purpose is one of those words where, people will scour, beat the bushes. I'm trying to find my purpose in life. Right. It's right here, right now. Like we are all doing this live today with intention and purpose. You want to springboard off on that, Vic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, purpose a lot of times, again, because of preconceived notions and because of feeling like certain things have to be true in order for this to be purposeful, keep us from that experience of fullness, again, that is an indicator of purpose and what is uniquely purposeful for us. So I think one thing I love so much about the work that we do, Terri, is that it helps people go back to the core of who they are and sort of sift through a lot of barriers, a lot of, as I said before, preconceived notions, but a lot of just layers is probably the best word, of things that life has offered to them that does not serve them and their
untruths.
Purpose. Yeah, right, exactly.
Because we adopt them as our truth.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and truth is relative because it's like it's true that I could make a lot of money as an accountant. It's also true that I would probably feel awful in that day-to-day life to the point that no matter if my bank account were overflowing and I were extremely rich, quote unquote, if my life doesn't feel good and my life doesn't feel full, tell me how I'm going to use that bank account in order to create that feeling, which is at the end of the day, I think what we're all after is a life that feels good and feels full and feels well and on track, and alive.
Exactly. Yeah. Candy brought up a good point. Believe people who have a purpose also live longer while doing what they love, their passion and their purpose. Well, I do know for one thing is that they live fuller, that the days they have are not drudgery.
Right.
And when we live in our passion and our purpose, there was I'm going to refer back to that series of art pieces that deal with that Richard Trest posted on his page today in Our World Today. And there was a picture, an art cartoon of a father and a mother both on their phones. And in the center of the bed was this little kid going with his little books wanting to be read to. Sometimes it's as simple, like you said, Vic, and as small, Terri, as you mentioned, as reading to your child and being present in your passion, being present in your purpose. And I look at people who embrace that thought, and it changes everything.
It's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
But we do live in a world where, because of preconceived notions, the passion, the purpose, all tend to feel like they elude us when they really are right here with us. It's just a matter of shifting our filter a bit to recognize it.
I think we have to let things fall on us. And when I say that, I mean, we have to give things more than a split second of our attention.
Yes.
And really allow the goodness that is there to penetrate us, to just to what I think basically is happening is that our ego is getting moved through. You know, we experience life through this lens of ego, of the way things that are supposed to be. And our minds are constantly shifting and sorting and categorizing and labeling. But sometimes if we see something like a beautiful view and we just give it 20 seconds instead of just a quick glance, what's in that can really permeate us if we're willing to hold still and let it.
It changes life and gives us quality, and in ways that we can't even foresee. Here's something else, is that we think somehow we've been schooled into, I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. But that particular thought of I'm not a quitter will make us hold on to things that are not in our passion and not in our purpose just because we don't want to be a quitter. Guess what? We get to make a choice every day to say, you know what? This was something, this I caught myself into, and this is me. I bought into somebody else's dream. I had a bunch of show horses, and I was going to shows and showing my horses. And all of a sudden, this thing that I loved was not my passion. I did not like going out, dressing up, getting on my horse. Now, some people love it. If that's your passion, good for you. You do you. Now, this was not me. I ended up in it. And I'm going, I was hot. I was tired, and I was trying to, and I was all for a stupid ribbon, and not stupid for everybody else. If it's your thing, go ahead. It's your passion. It was not mine. And I go, you know what? I am done. I retired my horses. They got to go live outside and be them and embrace their passion. And I love bathing them. That's what I like to do. I like bathing. I like taking care of the grungy stuff. I like making them feel good. So you know what? I have old horses now that are retired.
Nice.
And I love it. So that's the thing. Do not hold on like the monkey with his hand in the log trying to get the banana out when there's bananas all around him. Let go of things that do not serve your purpose or your passion.
That is wisdom if I have ever experienced or heard it.
I walked in it.
Yes. Well, and you have to. That's how you experience it, right? I used to have a sign in my office that said, you know, never, ever, ever give up. And after years of looking, there was a part of me that was like, from the self-love part, yes, don't give up on yourself. But I walked in my office one day and I said, never, ever, ever give up. Well, sometimes you just got to give up on that shit. You just got to like chuck it, because if it's not yours, you're not going to be able to create it. You're not going to be able to embrace it. And there's a big difference in something that moves, that comes to you and moves through you versus something that is put upon you. Big difference.
And that's something else about noticing how it feels in your body when you're doing it.
Right.
Is it elevating you? Is it adding to your experience of joy and your experience of fullness and love and well-being, or is it depleting you? Can you feel literally the life force being drained from you as you are, you know, whatever the activity is, the conversation you're having? We all know having conversations with people and we're just like, ooh.
The energy
Yes.
suck. Candy says when you're single parent raising your kids, you do what you have to do. You do what you know to do to pay the bills, even if you don't like it. Your passion may still be there in little ways during that time, but it's on the back burner. Ooh, that's a good one. How many people have back burner passion, back burner purpose?
Well, tons of people do, but I can tell you this, as experiencing life as a single parent for some time when my daughter was younger, I love to paint. Am I Picasso? No, but in my mind, I'm pretty damn good. So, that's a passion, and allowing your children to see those things, no matter what they are, teaches and models to them that they too can embrace those things within them, and they too can connect to things that feel richer to them from an emotional standpoint. But yes, I can guarantee you, as Candy said, there are hundreds of thousands times 10 of people in life, single parents, men and women, single grandparents raising kids, that are in survival mode and don't tap into the thriving part of life, but stay in that survival mode.
Yeah, it's about letting ourselves do the thing and not feeling like it has to be worth my while financially, or it has to make sense. It's like, let yourself do the thing and have the experience. If you love to sing, you don't have to have a record deal in order to let yourself sing. Find ways to sing and sing. There's plenty of places. And if you love to bathe horses. I love that. That's such a
and if you don't even own the horse, I will tell you that there is a farmer, there is a person who's got horses will say, come on, let me help you. I will teach you. You can be part of my horse life. And Elizabeth said, it's so easy to get sucked into what society says are the things that should be important to us, or that we should do. Those shoulds left me feeling dead and numb inside for a long time.
Listen, I'm coaching a 19-year-old young man right now who is in college, and he is at that crossroads of realizing that what I'm doing is about what people have taught me that I need to do in order to make money. It's not about passion. I don't enjoy doing it. I feel depleted by it. And yet I'm at this place where I'm making a choice at the age of 19. What am I going to continue to pursue? And that is a huge place, an important place to be in life, where you're choosing, am I going to spend my life doing something because people tell me it makes sense? Or am I going to do something that I can feel makes sense?
Ooh,
absolutely.
Good. James G weighs in. Back burner passion is strong. Now, James, speaking of, he's a dad, he is a husband, and an amazing singer. And he sings, and he comes from this place of, great country voice, and he comes from inspirational music, and it's just fantastic. So y'all check him out. But he's pursuing his dream in the way that it fits his life, and it's okay. I love Elizabeth. It's never too late, and we're never too old to pursue our passions. Absolutely. Now, for me, I loved being a ballerina. I took ballet for 8 years of my life. I became 5'10" on a pair of toe shoes, not so pretty at almost 60 to be doing ballet, but I can dance in my house. I can go and do ballroom dancing. Your dream and your passions may change a little bit. Like you said, Vic, may not be as big as Madison Square Garden, but it's still there.
And one other thing I just have to say, if it feels good to you in your heart and you don't do it because it's not pretty, change your mind on that. Change your mind on that, because let me tell you what, when it feels good and it elevates your spirit and adds to your life, it is beautiful, period.
Ooh, loving that. Write it down, y'all. Okay, then we're going to talk power. Power is our next thing, because this is another one. And see, the date on that one is August 14th. Okay. Power.
You want to run with it, Victor?
Of course. Always my favorite subject,
I know.
What are the things that we do, the things that we believe, the ways that we see ourselves, and the concessions that we make on a daily basis that literally are like flushing our life force down the toilet because of the way we're thinking, the way we're framing things, perceiving things. Our power, basically, we're giving it away a lot of times. But we don't have to. We don't have to. We we can understand the ways in which we do it, why we've come to do it, and make different choices. Our greatest ability as humans, I think, is focus. That's the most important ability, is focus. But choice of focus is also so important. We can choose. We have the ability to choose almost everything all the time.
Good.
And that's one of those things that people get a little sideways about, because when we see the word power or we see the word ego, visually see them, we think, oh, that's not good. Power in the sense of the ability to create and co-create the life that is purpose-filled and brings you joy is not only a divine birthright that you have, it is a gift that ripples out to other people. When we lean into our power and we choose things that are, whether we say powerful or power-filled, when we choose those things that enrich our experience and our life, other people are watching. It's not that we're doing it so that people are watching, but Devon, you may have people that are listening to you right now that are like, I've thought about the power it is to bathe a horse. Horses are magnificent creatures, complete muscle mass and beautiful. And to be in that moment, in that oneness with that experience is huge, and you sharing that allows other people to, well, maybe it's not a horse. Maybe they've thought half their life they wanted to be a dog groomer. And now they're like, well, check this out. We're here to usher and share,
Big thank you to Wayne. He says he's got a Zoom meeting for work. Love y'all. Thank you for covering this subject. Wayne, we love you. Thank you for joining us today. James G.
Wayne best.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Isn't that great?
Yes.
And James, doing your passion on your terms. Thanks for all you do. Devon, thank you for being here, James. And then I loved it. Tim is also a dancer, and passion for himself is also spiritual for himself. Passion of dancing and music, God's scenery, his amazing animals. Take it all in, rejuvenates our spirit. Very good ad for today. And, I think everybody needs to learn to identify their superpower. Everybody has a superpower. And it took me a long time to figure out what my superpower is. And you're not being egotistical in finding out your superpower. And it occurred to me that wherever I've gone in the world, and I'm a big traveler, I've been to a lot of places, inevitably, wherever I go, and I travel by myself a great deal of the time, someone will come over and tell me their story. Strangers will just tell me their story. And I realized I need a big L that says, listener. Why do people tell you those things? I don't know. Maybe I sat and was... So and I realized, I go, that's my superpower. That's why I became a writer, because I love to hear people's stories. Now, Terri, what's your superpower?
Evolving.
Ooh, that's good.
Because I love the person I was when I was 10, and I love the person I was when I was 15, and I love the person I was when I was 30, and I love the woman I am as 57. I can't wait to see who I am at 62. That is... I never stop learning. I'm constantly evolving. Good. So to me, that's, I'm a hell of a talker too, but I love to learn me some things.
Yes. And I'm a second that. And that's probably why you created the idea of the littles, the evolving of the little, then inside we evolve into the different nesting dolls. You do that.
Well, who we are when we're born is who we are today. We're just a different evolved version of that. So, what about you, Vic?
I think for me, it's connectedness. And when I say that, I mean, because I have an ability to see connections and really quickly talk to somebody and be like, okay, that's connected to that. And that traces back to that. And then this is what we need to address in order for that to organically change.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So if you're watching in this thread, wherever it is, and you're doing the replay or whatever, I want you to think about this and put your superpower next to your name in a comment. Put your superpower down there. And the power is part of a wonderful event that they're going to be doing. July 10th starts Passion. July 24th, Purpose. August 14th, Power. August 26th, Plugging In. Let's quickly go through that. So let's talk about plugging in.
Okay, so I was thinking about this today, and I think that in order to experience our lives differently in any way, we have to be able to provide the way. Mm-hmm. We have to provide a way to have new realizations. We have to have a way to see ourselves as we truly are. And I think that that's what this work does more than anything, is it provides a safe way for people to come together and do work that can really enable them to have realizations that they can then use to change their lives. So plugging in, to me, is about making room and space for the truth of who we are in our lives, making the way, right?
Yes.
For us to have that connection. And that's what I think all this work does, is it provides a way.
Yes.
Good.
The other part of that is once you are discerning what that way is, mm-hmm. having what I call your charging stations. Mm-hmm. We have to be willing to recognize and plug into those things that feed our soul, those things that hold us accountable, those right. things that allow us to see that we are so much more than we possibly even imagine we are as human beings, and as brothers and sisters and wives and partners and all of that. It's the human experience. Mm-hmm. So we spend a lot of time draining our battery, but we don't spend a lot of conscious effort finding ways that we recognize feel nourishing to us to plug in. And doing that allows us to carry on what Vic was just saying, living that life that not only feels, but is factually mm-hmm. fulfilling.
And I think we do plugging in last intentionally because mm-hmm. everything that precedes it, all the themes, are elements of being able to plug in. You've got to understand your passion. You've got to understand what purpose is and what it can be, maybe in a way that you never have before. You've got to be able to play, right? You've got to be able to let yourself have experiences that make you feel full. It's all about plugging in, but just different ways and different aspects of it.
And we all have that. Yeah. We all have that. I mean, how many times have you ever been out doing something during your day and you see something that reminds you of, what we call a past life when you were younger? Mm-hmm. You hear a song, you see a candy, you see something, and you're just suddenly that spark inside you goes, whew, and it's like, oh, and that's that. It's mm-hmm. it's taking that and spreading it out, allowing it, kneading it out to be where it permeates your existence rather than, well, yeah, there was that one time. Allow that one time to feed your soul continually.
Plugging in for me too is when you feel like you're sleeping through your days. And I don't mean you're actually sleeping through. There's a great scene from one of my favorite shows, Golden Girls, where Blanche is describing to Dorothy or to Rose, I can't remember. Anyway, she was describing a feeling and she said, well, I'm just magenta. She said, I'm not sad or depressed enough to be blue, and I'm not happy enough to be yellow, and I'm just magenta, just kind of. And there are a lot of us who aren't sad or depressed, but we're just not electrically happy in our passion, in our purpose, in our thing. And to plug into that, and like you said, permission to do that, permission to not be magenta. We get told that big load of crap that because we're older, well, you just don't feel the way you used to. So you just are not going to feel that way like you were when you were 27. Well, guess what? You're going to feel different, but it's going to be so you can feel good. I do not want to be magenta.
And you can feel better, I think, if you think better.
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
see the world in a way that allows more love for yourself and for everyone, you'll feel better.
If you think better and if you respond differently, healthier.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I love this because Donna, we all love our Donna.
Donna!
This is not on the subject at hand, but I'm watching this and my 15-month-old twin grandbabies and Piper saying hi and blowing kisses. Okay, that is so on the subject right now because sometimes saying hi and blowing kisses gets us out of our magenta. You know
So
what I'm
then
talking about?
I'm going to blow those kisses right back to those babies because they're
Listening.
precious.
It is.
Still not
And Elizabeth, I feel better at nearly 55 than I did at 27. That's for darn sure. Amen. Hallelujah. You know, my friend Bonnie, when she turned 50, she says, I give myself permission to wear Velcro shoes and elastic pants. Yes. I have loved getting older. I feel it's been my superpower. Amen. Candy. And you know, I loved it. Elizabeth, I'm going to go back up here. And she says, my superpower. I'm going to have to noodle that this week. But I'm going to tell you, Elizabeth has a superpower of encouragement. I've watched her do it for so many people. She shows up, and not everybody understands how to encourage. That is a gift. If you can be the wind underneath somebody else's wings, and she is just amazing at that. So I'm just going to tell you your superpower, Elizabeth. Encouragement. You are a rock star. Well, you guys are rock stars. We're going to talk about this and let's bring this home and tell people how they could sign up for this incredible 4-session event.
Well, they can go to terripugh.com or they can go to Vic Sorrell at Gmail. Oh, actually, both of those are our emails. I said .com. It's not .com. It's my email. And email us and let us know if you'd like them all or if you'd like to a la carte it and do one or whatever works for you. And then we will give you the payment instructions and also send all the other yummy details about how we're going to unfold this. And I think Vic and I, well, I don't think, I know, Vic and I have talked about at some point in the future, reframing this a bit to do a virtual version of it for folks who are not necessarily able to come into, because it's going to be facilitated through my office. So we'll be live and in person. There's those babies.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
Hi, baby.
That's okay. We are okay with that.
as long as they can.
Yeah, that's right. It's okay.
This is
How
my
precious.
yes. He's a sweet boy. A little bit.
He is.
And tenacious.
Well, this is all going to take place at your office, Terri, in Trousdale?
Yes, my office on Trousdale, and then the virtual that we do, we're going to work out all of that stuff and release that out to the world when we figure it out ourselves. We haven't quite gotten there yet. So,
Oh, well, that is awesome. Well, you guys, you can follow Transcending Turbulence. Vic, how do they follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram at Vic Sorrell, VicSorrell. That's the best way at this point.
Well, y'all, I'm so glad that you joined us today. And thank you, Vic. We're going to have to do this again because this was a really, really fun we do this at lunchtime on Wednesdays. But remember, today is Ringo Starr's birthday. And in honor of him, peace and love.
peace. Yes.
And we close our show the same way every week with Terri.
I just want to say thank you for joining us and increase the peace.
Bye. You guys have a